Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today, we got this. Look at that cute little guy. What we have there is a 2009 Yamaha V-Star 250. It's going to be a bike for my daughter. She has another one that's just a little bit bigger. Well, it's a 750 Honda Shadow. It's a little large, so we're going to get her on this one for the season. And get her sea legs under her, get some time in the saddle, riding with other bikes, riding with traffic, getting the feel of things, and then this will probably be sold next spring. Who knows? We'll see. Anyways, just picked it up today. I know nothing about the history on it other than it was certified, and in Ontario we have safety inspections, which you have to get a safety inspection. It has to pass a mechanical safety inspection before you can license it for the road. That safety was done. It's still valid. It was only done about 20 days ago. They expire in 36 days here, so it's next week it's got to be licensed. So with a valid safety inspection, I don't have to take it to a shop and get them to sign off on it. So just walk in there with a safety, a bill of sale, and money, tax money, and ownership, and you're golden for the road. But we're going to go over it. It's got new tires, new brakes, new chain, new front sprocket, rear sprocket, battery. I think that's it. 19,000 and change kilometers, so it's not really that many miles for an 09. It's got some stuff. It needs a good clean and a polish. It's a dark brandy wine, I think they call it. So it's like a burgundy metallic. I'm not sure if the camera's going to pick it up, but anyways. Let's cut to the intro. We'll jump into this thing and see what we have to do with it. Okay, so, yeah, like I said, it's a cute little guy. It's got this fancy bike rack thing on it. That's going to come off. The bike came with the original rear pillion, rear seat. Came with a brand new Yamaha oil filter. It came with the original owner's manual. And all the associated paperwork that's required. So, it's certified now. So, theoretically, it shouldn't need anything. Everything should be perfectly fine with it. But I am still going to go over the fluids. The brake fluid is dark and cloudy. That's going to get flushed out. We're going to do an oil change because I have a filter for it. We're just going to dump some fresh 1040 in there when we're done. That way we know where we start, because it's a new bike. I don't know where we're at yet. I am still going to lift this thing up. I'm still going to eyeball the brakes. It's got drum brakes in the back, and it's got a wear indicator, and it's like well within like new. So I'm not even going to bother taking the back off. But I will lift it up, give the tire a shake, front and back. Make sure the bearings are good. Make sure everything is proper in that regard. So got to make sure it's safe. So we're going to get some tools gathered. I'll lift the hoist up. I did run it just a little bit. It's not quite warm enough. Maybe that's what I'll do off camera. I'll run this a little bit to let it get warmed up, and we'll just dump the oil out of it. Start with a fresh oil change. Alright, she's been running for a little bit. It's warmed up. There's our drain plug right there. 17 M&Ms, easily accessible when the kickstand's down. And there is a sight plug on the other side. Excuse me. I asked the guy when's the last time the oil was changed. He said, oh, a while ago. So, yeah, she's pretty black. It's due. Looked at the sight glass. It was pretty black over that side, too. So, we'll put fresh oil and filter in it. So, most Yamahas and such, they're on the other side of the engine. The filter itself, it's a cartridge style. It's not a spin-on. Usually on this style, you would take a cover off and this old one comes out. Sometimes they're spring-loaded on the back. Sometimes they're spring-loaded in here. You just shove it back on, put a cover back on, but I'll get you guys on that side when we get there. You gotta get this rack off of here, because my, oh my. I mean, it's fancy, but whew, I probably wouldn't have gone that route. As advertised, sprockets are brand spanking new. Seems brand spanking new. It's got a master link in it, and the link is actually traveling in the correct direction. There's a proper way to put them. That's on there, right? Strange that it's got that, because most of these era street bikes, most of the ones that I've come across anyways, the metrics with chains, they have spin riveted nuts. You got to break them and rivet them. There's a whole tool set to get for that. All right, I'm gonna let this drain out a bit. When we're ready, I'll take you to the other side to show where the filter is and how to change that. Okay, here's what we got over this side for the oil filter. It's underneath this cover here. 1, 2, 3 screws. We're gonna use a big Phillips. Oh yeah, they're half boogered already. There, that one's loose. Oh, that's it. Impact driver. Thus here is an impact driver. Put it on the screw, give it the twist in the direction you want it to go, and then whack it. There you go. Cracked or loose. Cracked or loose. This one I think was loose. Yep. Easy peasy. You don't booger threads that way. I believe these are 2 of one size and 1 of another. Methinks. I don't remember. Those are the same. Starting to drip oil already. Loose. Don't feel spring pressure on it. Must just be sitting on an O-ring. There we go. That's pretty black. Definitely needs to be changed. Well, they are definitely different screws. Because this one holds the other side peg on. Jeez, that's long. Oh yeah, nice silicone and stuff in there. Okay. Okay. Note to self, oil a new, or order a new O-ring. Could be silicone, don't know. So not spring loaded, but these little fingers pushing the back of the filter. So that's a seal there. That's a seal there. It's already on here. So it just sits over there. Pushes against there, gives your pleat out. This one should just give a pull and a wiggle. Boop. There it is. There it was due. Definitely due. And I'll have to set that there and let it soak up that oil. Just checking for junk in there. Make sure that there's no metallic particulates. Looks okay. Nothing on the rag. If you're going to have metal in the engine, you'll likely catch it in the filter. Likely. Make sure, yeah. Okay. That's that. Make sure all your pieces fit. Yeah, that's snug. Where'd you guys put the screw? There it is. I'm going to get them all started somewhat equally. Snug. 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 Beautiful day today. First really nice riding weather we've had this spring. It's like 25 degrees or something. Not a cloud in sight. My Harley actually came home today out of storage. There you go. That is snug enough. I am sure there's a torque spec on that. And I'm sure what I just did is enough. Beautiful. Oil's dumped. Filter's changed. No, it's 1.4, they say, without changing the filter. If you do change the filter, it's 1.6 liters. Oh, what are we going to do with that extra 0.2? I don't know how many quarts that is. There's our sight glass anyways. It's bone dry. She's empty right now. I'm going to pour some of the oil in there. There's the flavor of oil we're using today. Motul. It's just conventional oil, 10W40. I don't generally use synthetic oils. All right, so I'm going to pop the drain plug in the other side because it's still dripping out. Pop the drain plug in and I'll top it up here. I'll put 1.6 in there and, you know, roll the dice and hope for the best. Okay, so she's filled up just above the, well, it's above the full line, but you got to remember that filter's empty and dry. So let's fire it up and see what happens. Sometimes this goes down, sometimes it goes empty when it's running, sometimes it just kind of moves around a little bit. Let's see what happens. Going down. Gonna fill that filter housing and then saturate the filter. So it's gonna let it sit and idle until it settles. There's a little lifter tap there, but the oil got to it. Try it now. Splash that oil around. It's running pretty good. Well, it's a V-twin 250, so pretty smooth. Let's shut it off and see where that oil climbs to. It got a little bit dirty already, so that inside of the engine was pretty dirty. It's climbing. She's halfway between the full and the add. Probably gonna need a little more. Put a splash more in there. There you go. Splash more. That's probably enough. Look at that. On the full line. Right on the money. That'll do it. Let's get our fill cap back in there. Zoom you out. I wanted to show you that muffler. That's not out. That's out. Fill cap back in. Nice and snug. I wanted to show you that that pipe's fake. The exhaust does not go through that pipe. It's got the two shorty mufflers here. This is a full, that pipe is active. Then it comes out of this pipe. Sorry, the front cylinder exhausts straight through here. The rear cylinder, I can actually see it coming into the back of this muffler. And then there's another section up in here that transfers from, they're connected. It transfers from this muffler to that muffler. This pipe has nothing going through it. So it's a two into one muffler into one pipe that's split into two. It's a crazy thing. It sounds pretty good though. It works. It works. Okay, oil change is done. Let's move on. Here's something you guys don't get to see too often. This table, this lift table I have, there's usually a piece here that goes across from this leg to that leg over there. But when it's on and you've got just a bike on the hoist, you got to reach way over to work on the bike. But that piece, a couple of pins, that piece comes right off. These two legs just fold in. I can work right up close to the bike and I don't have to reach over the table. Anyways, it works. It's kind of cool. Well, let's, I got the door closed and things, trying to get a little bit better lighting for you because it's kind of weird lighting in here. Let's get this off of here because I'm not keeping it. So it's a homemade thing. Actually, it's not too bad, other than it was kind of floppy, even when all the fasteners were tight. Could have used a brace off the light, the reflector bracket. Could have used a brace up underneath it, but whatever. It's not staying on, so I don't care. Let's get that out of there. A few screws. And the side plates that were made, I'm pretty sure we've got to completely disconnect and remove these lights to get those these brackets out, because the lights are on a hollow, basically a pipe, a threaded pipe, threads on the inside of the fender, and there's the wires are through it. So you basically run your wires through the nut. You would put the stem on, put the wires through the fender, put your nut on the wires, pull the wires through, thread the nut on the back of this to tighten it up, and then plug the wires in. That's going to be under the seat, so we got to get that saddle off of there. I'm just going to pop the other side, grab these two out. That'll just get the rack out of the way. It won't be flopping around for us when we're trying to work on things. I did check the tires. They were perfectly aired up to the exact right pressure, so pretty sure he checked them and adjusted them for us. Okay, in theory, that should come off. Unless there's something else holding it. What else is holding it? The brackets are holding it, because the brackets are bent on the top. Get out. There we go. That is a massive rack. Nice rack. So that nut is not overly tight, I guess, on these currently. Let me see if I can get my back completely covering your view. Oh yeah, no, you can see. I'll end up, like I said, reusing these just to fill the holes up. Because I don't need them for any other purpose. So, let's see if I can just turn that. Just give it I'll hold the nut. There we go. Give it a wiggle. Nut's loosening off. That's something is washer, spacer fell off. Nut is off. And there we go. And a little damage under the paint. Nothing crazy. Nothing crazy. Those screws need to go back in. Yeah, I'm just basically just going to put them right back in. And put the nuts on the back. Easy peasy. But the wiring, like I said, is through this hollow piece. And it's fed up underneath here. Let's get the saddle off. Looks like a couple of 8mm. One here. With a washer. And I'm sure there's a duplicate twin on this side. Oh, yep. Voila. And viola. There it is. Look at our battery. There's all kinds of things to look at in here. What the heck is that thing? It says Japan on it. Must be from there. There's a additional wire. Didn't see any accessories on the bike that I'm aware of. This is a... Oh, looks like it was jumped into the factory harness, so it may be there may have been an issue and somebody bypassed the old circuit and refused it up here. So that's quite possible. Everything seems to be working. It does go directly to the battery and down into here. Yep. Everything's in there. That's the only one I see, the only bypass circuit. Just going to pop this plastic cover off this side, and I'll get to that side in a second. There's a strap here where there used to be a tool kit. She gone. That ain't there no more. But it is what it is. That's fine. I have tools. I don't need bike tools. I got tools. Yeah, just a couple of relays over this side. Nothing too fancy over here to see. Let's get that hook back in there. Oh yeah, those are broken off because somebody took them off wrong the last time. Sometimes the way these are on, they're just 3 pins that go into rubber grommets. But you do have to hook your peepers. Oh, I shouldn't say that. You do have to look at things. On the other side, there, see? There's hooks here and just one post. So you hook it on and then press it in. That's probably a voltage regulator. Did not see a fuse box. I don't know. It might have one somewhere. I just didn't see it. Might have could. Anyways, there's nothing to see under here. The other side, you can see these pieces here. If you pull it off wrong, you just reef it off, you break those off. And on the other side, somebody's drilled it and put zip ties in there to make new ones. Whatever. Zip ties are an excellent thing to carry in a motorcycle. You get straight on the side of the road. It's amazing what you can figure out with that. Okay, so there is our wiring for the lights. We're going to unplug it here. We're going to unplug it here. The wiring should be loose because it's not even in the hooks properly. We'll pull that back through the fender. No, the nut is stuck on the boogered up rubber. There's the nut sliding down the wiring. We'll put a little tape on that to make it easier to go back together. Nuts off, wiring's out, lights off. Very, very common setup, the way that is. Get our superfluous bracket off there that we don't need. I don't need to tape that. It'll be fine. It's just like the outside shielding. It's just a casing. Fire that back in there. Make sure that's facing the right way. Get our nut back over the wires. Get that back up on the back of the stem there. Sometimes there's a little alignment pin, a spot on the fender, and an alignment pin on the back of the stand, the perch, but this one doesn't have that. Sometimes there is, sometimes there isn't. Now that nut came off literally with my fingers. I just twisted this and the nut came off, so I'm just gonna eyeball it, make sure it's sitting the way it should-ish, for the most part. I'll tighten that with a wrench afterwards. So there's little metal hooks under the fender that you're supposed to hook that wire in and then push the clips back up so it doesn't, you know, rub on the tire, because we don't want that. I'm gonna get rid of you. There you go. That'll learn you. Back up through the little hole in the fender here. One. Come on, you're in there. There's two. There you go. There you go. I knew you could do it. Hooked in a clip. Hooked in a clip. Oh, there's lots of clips. Just give them a bend. I'll just reach under and bend them back out towards the fender to hold the wiring in place. Perfect. Nice. They are color coded, brown and black. Brown to brown, black to black. Yep. Yeah. There we go. Gotta do the same thing on the other side, and that'll take care of that, and I'll tighten those up. There's lots of room behind here between the fender and the tire. We'll get these back in there just so it just fills the hole. That's all that matters. Here, it's tight. Here, tight. There we go. The holes are covered. Lights back on. Wrench on the back to tighten that nut to make sure that it doesn't fall off. And I'll do the same on the other side. Okay, that's back together. These are on nice and tight. These are on nice and tight. A small little amount of paint damage under here. I'm not concerned with it. While the seat was off, I made sure all the wiring and everything was good. Everything appears to be nice. Everything's tight under there. Battery terminals are correct. It's got a brand new battery in it. So everything it's good under there. Even if I didn't have to go under here, I would have pulled that and checked anyways. Did take the opportunity to put the bracket tray on to hold the passenger pillion onto the fender because it was not equipped, but it did come with it. That is got too much stuff. There's extra things here. There's an extra rubber jump washer, something extra. What is going on? I'm very sure that is not supposed to be there at all. This big rubber honking thing. Because that pillion's got a rubber mount in it. I think you just put it there for spacer. Likely. That's likely. Let's get that out of there. Get that back fitted. Now this bike is not going to have a passenger. It's not going to carry a passenger. But it does look better with a seat than it does with that mount. thing. There we go. I bought them out. Let's see if we get one more washer under that. It's just not quite squeezed enough. Yeah, let me grab a washer. Take up the gap. We'll put it under the chrome one. Chrome one shouldn't rust. There we go. Oh, that's better. My daughter does have luggage, so I might end up putting a backrest on there so she can start a luggage here. And it could be strapped to the backrest, but that looks good. It's a lot darker color than this one. I think this has been off for quite a while. Needs a cleaning. I actually like it without that altogether, just a nice round fender. It's not my bike. All right. What do we do next? I don't know. That's good. Brake fluid flush. That's what we'll do next. I decided to do something else instead of the brake fluid flush yet because it's 9 o'clock at night and I'm ready to go in the house. I just want to check the air filter real quick. So this is the twin to this side. I took this one off first. It is not under there. There's other stuff under there. This goes on the other side of the bike. So there's one bolt here, one bolt there, and the clamp to hold it to the air horn of the carburetor. And then this whole thing wiggles off. And then there's a couple more screws you take out. And then the chrome cover comes off. Under the chrome cover is a wing nut with a washer here. And then you take this off. This is like old school. So it's a plastic screen cage inside a foam filter. So that screen holds the shape of the... It's a screen. Holds the shape of the filter. But look at this. It's turned to dust. Now, this is nothing we don't see on Briggs & Strattons from the 70s. These foam filters just turned to dust, so new one's on order. And another. Okay, air filter's on order. Be a couple of days to get that. Well, let's get that front brake flushed. So what I've done so far is I've taken the master cylinder cover off. I used my fluid extractor and I just got the old fluid out, topped it up with fresh .4. We're going to leave it open. We're going to crack the bleeder. We're just going to let it gravity feed and see what happens. Hope for the best. Sometimes you got to pump the caliper lever. Where is my wrench? It's over there. 8 M&Ms on this one. Usually they're 10. 8's kind of different. Let's see. Give that bleeder a crack. No, fluid's coming out, so that's a good sign. It was just a little dark. It's due. Due for new fluid. And she's dripping out. I'm just going to let it drip for a while. Keeping an eye up here to make sure that it stays nice and clean. Give her a little squeeze, see what happens. What happens is it shoots out everywhere. But if I let go of the lever, it'll suck air up that tube. So I'm just going to put my finger over the end of the tube. The little hose that I got. Release the caliper. I'll just let her drip out for a while. Keeping an eye on the fluid level. Yep. Local Yamaha dealer usually had one of those air filters in stock. He said he's just out right now, so I just told him to order 2, one for me and one for his shelf. Oh, she's getting low. They do not hold much fluid. You really got to keep your eye on these things. It's just a steady stream coming out or dripping. So .4 is a .4 brake fluid is similar to .3 in the manner that it'll absorb water. So you'll want to get that out of there and flush the system. Make sure that there's no moisture in it. It's quick, it's easy. Flushing brakes is super easy. It's just dripping out. It's doing its thing. We'll let that run through. Let her drip a little bit. Fill her up. Oh, there we go, guys. We got the air filter installed from Yamaha. Got it right from the dealer. It was $3 more and I didn't have to wait for it. Getting pre-oiled up was pretty cool. Just slap it on the cage and fire it back in there. Got the new set of spark plugs in there. Again, from the dealer. I didn't want to have to stop in another store. I paid a couple bucks more for them, but that's fine. They're NGKs. They'll be fine. Looking for a test drive, a little bit of seafoam in the tank, get some of the snottiness out of the carburetor, and yeah, it runs like a champ. Thanks for joining me in this video, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you do subscribe, click that bell icon to let you know when I upload new videos. Till the next one, take care.